am a fan of is just the beautiful women that African American women are. And I made a joke saying black don't crack, but black really don't crack. And I think, Michelle, you probably know this better than anyone, as you have led Essence and followed in the footsteps of some amazing women who have led Essence over the years. Is there something special about African American women that allows us to be beautiful in mind, body, and spirit for the longevity of our lives?
Star, absolutely. And I have had the privilege of, working with the one and only Susan L. Taylor and our current editor-in-chief, Vanessa DeLuca, because they understand that for black women, it's that internal journey. We transform ourselves internally, and then that joy and optimism and curiosity shows itself on the outside. Now, we do have melanin in our skin that protects us from the sun, but women and black women, we have learned, through the church and through working with each other, through our ancestors, to be joyful. And when you're joyful, that it comes through in your spirit, it comes through in what you look to achieve. And that's, growing, being here in this country, black women couldn't look at images in other magazines or on television that said we were beautiful. We couldn't look externally, so we had to look internally, and we had to tell each other. It's that poem, there are no mirrors in my Nana's house. My nose is not too flat, my skin is not too black. That's what we gave to each other. And that beauty, wanting to just let that beauty shine, not about aging, we don't want to deny ourselves that, because this journey has been hard fought, and that's what Essence has looked to portray after now 47 years, the diversity of our beauty, but that spirit, and that then shines on the outside.
Yeah, it seems as if you're saying that there is something inside of us that was put there.
Yeah.
And because it's just a part of our DNA, it expresses itself in the longevity of our own beauty.
We're internally motivated. I don't care what other people say, because we've had to make our own narratives, because the narratives that were around us didn't include us. It didn't include us being successful. So we had to go inside in that internal journey and believe, whether it was what our grandmothers or mothers told us or what we read in the scripture, we had to believe that and internalize it and then act on that in our lives.
Ladies, I'm just to piggyback on something that Nikki said and now Michelle is saying, do you think beauty ideals decrease as we age? Are they still there? And are we just too confident or too unbothered to let it bother us anymore? Playing off on what Nikki said, I just don't care. What Michelle said, it's something internal in our spirit and in our soul. With the beauty ideals changing constantly in our country and in our world, why have black women sort of rejected it until most recently? Now, all of a sudden, the things that enhanced us, that gave us pride, we've chosen to make adjustments, is the best way to put that. Beauty ideals have changed. Who wants to talk a little bit about that? Go ahead, Linda. You look like you can start to preach any minute now.
Because it's a little disheartening in some sense. We're bombarded, we black women are bombarded every day by all of this messaging and imagery, which in large part, outside of Essence magazine and some other publications, tells us that what we're not. We're not thin, we're not whatever, we're not, and it takes its toll on us. So while we say, black don't crack on the outside, but it does take its toll on the inside. We've got great spiritual fortitude, but we see how it gets played out in our health. So a few years ago, we actually asked black women to define health. We just wanted to know, what do black women think about health? We just said, give us words and phrases that mean health to you. About 85% of the words and phrases black women used to define health were psychosocial. I'm calm, I'm at peace, I'm with God. About 10% of the words were financial. I can keep a roof over my head, take care of my children. Only about 5% of the words that black women used to define health had anything to do with disease state or being healthy or sick. We don't think of ourselves that way. We think of ourselves as spiritual, peaceful beings. But the messages we get outside are say anything but. So what we've got to do is change that narrative.
Right, spiritual, peaceful being is a really good thing. But if you have diabetes, heart disease, and or cancer, all the spiritual peacefulness in the world not gonna keep you alive.
That's true, but part of the effect of stress is to raise our risk for those things.
Yes.
Just one thing I'll mention that people might find interesting and disturbing. There was a study done recently that looked at black women and how they work. Turns out black women work, on average, 20 to 30% more than their white counterparts. But there's no increase in productivity for the company, no decreased costs, no cost savings, nothing. But we do it because we think we have to. So imagine, all of you, if you could work 10, 20, 30% less, what your life would be like. We still have to take care of ourselves. We still have to take care of our diabetes and our heart disease. But that actually would lower our risk for those things as well. So think about that as you think about what you have to do, because we're putting stress on ourselves by worrying about what other people think about us and how much work we do.
Yes, absolutely.
The one thing I will say, though, is I am concerned about this upcoming generation and what they see beauty as. They see images of women in videos scantily dressed. It's all about sort of physical and not about spiritual. And, I think we all owe this next generation of women our knowledge and our wisdom so that they can carry with them what, these ladies here are saying. It's not about your physical beauty, sure, it's part of it, but right now I just think we've over-indexed to a point where it's all about looks and it's all about body image and it's not positive at all. And that a lot of women, for them, the best thing they can do is not go to school and get good grades and, get a great education and come out and be, role models, but, be on a music video or be, twerking on a video. So, I think we really do need to be mentors to them and let them understand that there really is something far beyond what your body looks like, because as you age, that's going to change. And so you might as well have something ready that really you can depend on, and it's friends, it's spirit, it's your family. And I just think we've, as a people, we've gotten away from that a little bit, and I think we need to come back home, really.
So, Claudia, you don't think those booty enhancements are going to work in the years to come?
Those booty enhancements are going to be like at your knees, it's like, no, it's not going to work. And that's not what we're all about. We're much deeper than that. And I just think that there's a level of just being very superficial that children need to get away from.
Simone, I know you wanted to jump in.
So I would say a great advantage that everyone has in this room is that to some capacity you are a mother, an aunt, a mentor, a community leader. And what is beautiful about that is that it remains constant. The things that we see in the media and in magazines are ever changing. 1 month it's cool to wear something that shows your cleavage, and the next turtlenecks are in. And it's physically impossible to keep up with those expectations, but I promise you that I remember the things that my mom focused on and what she told me more so than any magazine or commercial or video that I ever saw. So I would say you all do have an advantage against the media media, but with that platform, with that advantage, are you utilizing it to the greatest degree is the question. And I'll tell you some of the things that really remained in my mind from my mother and the other women around me is primarily with makeup and what I wear, that at the end of the day, my value is going to be based on my relationship with God when I die, and also the people that I have around me and that team that I build within my family and my friends. So communicate that, because people are listening. They're listening to you more so than they're listening to the TV, and I promise that much.
That's actually good to know. Simone, I'm going to stick with you for just a second. I'm a big believer in women supporting other women. I run a networking organization that is now global, and to see other women just reaching out and helping other women grow their businesses, their careers, their lifestyles is my passion. What do you think that we in the 40+ club can do to pave the way for younger, amazing women who may feel discouraged or stuck? I loved your advice for what our responsibility is in the whole beauty culture. So I'm wondering about a wider lens.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll share a small anecdote. It was the night that I found out that I had been selected for this position. And the next morning it would be publicized to not only the public, but also the old grads of the university who were accustomed to a different racial construct as well as gender construct of the academy. So they would have great things to say, and they would also have concerns of their own for whatever reason it may be. And the loudest narrative that surmounted everything that came up on the internet or through my phone or on social media were the words of encouragement and elimination of doubt that they shared with me. So what I would tell you all here, and it's such an honor to be able to speak to you guys because I'm just 20 years old, but if anything I can share, If anything, I can share the things that you all have provided me that have made me successful, and how you should really emphasize on those specific things, and is that positive narrative. Within life, there will be negative and positive times, but what we can do is, if we focus on that positivity, it will drown out the sound of any negativity. And those naysayers that will eventually become the minority will be like, I want to be cool and be with the majority. Let me find a way to be positive. And trust me, like the phone call that you give to that young girl in college or in the 9th grade or even in 2nd grade struggling with something, you might think, oh, this is only 5 minutes and won't last. I promise you, it means something, because those are the moments that made me believe that I could achieve something like this. Because I really didn't, and I really didn't for a very long time, and it were those words, ma'am.
Simone, you make us so proud, I can't even tell you.